Hello again, it's Monsterforge, and tonight I wanted to talk about something. Actually, somebody asked me a question the other day. They were like, I want to see more of your customs, because, you know, I think people enjoy the videos where I'm doing reviews of toys and stuff like that. But I had several people ask me in the past month or two about, they wanted to see more of my work. So I'm not talking about stormtroopers. I just bring in a stormtrooper because this is the standard, you know, like unit of measurement in the toy world is a stormtrooper. It's one of the vintage Star Wars vintage collection figures from Hasbro, and for the longest time the action figure field was based on that size figure. They've kind of gotten bigger and all, but you know, a stormtrooper is, you know, compared to my hand, they're fit in the palm of your hand. Good pocket action figures. If you hear a little sound in the background, it's probably thunder because there's a storm raging outside. But anyway, I wasn't going to talk about stormtroopers tonight, just using that as a standard of measurement. What I wanted to talk about was Warhammer minis, particularly Warhammer 40K, because that's what I've been working on lately. It's part of the thing that I've been working on lately. My brain works in such a way that I can't work on one thing at a time. I have to work on 12 or 20 at a time. And what I've been doing lately is just taking my work to work with me, because where I work, I have a lot of downtime where I could use my time to read or watch movies or, you know, check out stupid things on the internet. I try to spend it doing some of this work, and for a long time I didn't touch any custom work because of, you know, just various things. But I got back into it. I've been trying to build up the gumption to actually put some stuff up for sale, but that hasn't happened yet. It's always a daunting thing to work on things for a long time and then not really know what to ask for them, and when you ask what you want for them, people don't want to give it. So it's kind of a trade-off there, and kind of figuring a happy medium. But the work that I've been doing lately has been a lot more concentrated work, put a lot more work into each piece. So I would like to be compensated fairly for that. But anyway, that's not what this is about. This is just showing some of the stuff I've been working on. Not particularly for this guy. This is one of my own minis for my own collection. And this is one of the Raptor Squadron that I did. And it's a regular Space Marine that I just painted and kind of did up the base and stuff like that. You can... The cool thing about Warhammer is it's all about, well, at its heart, is about customization and kit bashing and stuff like that. And I did some additions to this guy to make him unique, but he's not what I'm talking about today. I kind of wanted to use him as a scale reference. Each one of these figures is, they're between, you know, of this size figure. It's like 28 or 32 millimeters tall. So you can see, you know, oh, all right, Stormy. You can see that the figure, one of the standard figures comes about to right at the crotch of a stormtrooper, you know, the figure on its base. And sometimes you have more elaborate bases that lift the figure up a little bit more, but, you know, on average, the main figures will stand up about that tall. So using now that you get the scale with the stormtrooper figure, which most people are familiar with the Star Wars size, the Space Marine here is what I kind of base the size of the other stuff. And I'm kind of going to go from smaller of these customs I've been working on up to the bigger, and one of them is really big. But not all of these are using Games Workshop, the company that makes the Warhammer stuff. Not all of them are using parts. from that stuff. Sometimes I use different things that I find or purchase and kind of cobble them together. They call it kitbashing in the field. But anyway, just want to start out with a few of these. Now this is a different version of a Tyranid. Tyranids are one of the aliens in Warhammer, and they're kind of like the xenomorphs, sort of. They're these bug type of aliens. And the standards, they have like certain types that are standard, but I kind of wanted to do my own thing with this one. And there we go. I kind of gave him some claws for his forelimbs. He's got some claws on his secondary limbs, and his hind legs are pretty much the hind legs, the middle legs are pretty much the standard for the Tyranid. I gave him like a horn on his head, and I gave him these things that launch, you know, acid or whatever out of them, and they're cobbled together from different parts. And the front limbs here are from different parts of Tyranid models that I put together, and I always put my little logo on everything. But this is one of the figures that I've worked on, and this is another. This is what if the Dark Mechanicum, which is a faction in 40K, they're kind of twisted scientists. What if they took a Tyranid and made it into a death machine? You know, so he has a chain sword on his arm. He's got his spiky bits that's required for most chaos type things. Some horrible ichor flowing through his tubes here, and some type of, probably like a flamethrower or something on his arm. Just fun stuff. And I like, when I make stuff like this, I like to kind of make it available to people that would want to purchase it, and they can make up their own stuff about it. So he has like a rebreather unit type thing there, and a monocle, you know, like a cybernetic eye on this. So you know, just fun stuff like that. And this is a chaos sorcerer, chosen. This was once a space marine that got warped into some type of horrible chaotic entity. A chaos demon possessed him and warped his body into what you see here. And I figured this one would probably be a servant of Tzeentch, which is the more like obsessed with magic and change type of faction in the chaos forces. But yeah, and he's made from all kind of stuff. He's, you know, he's like a Warhammer fantasy or Age of Sigmar figure. He's got some parts from a Chaos Marine on him. He's got skulls from the box of skulls. He's got Tyranid parts making up things. So I just had a blast putting this guy together with his magical sword. But that's some of the smaller figures. And I'll move up to a little bit bigger here. Let me get a better position. So we'll leave our Space Marine here to show scale again. But this is like a daemon engine. It would be a mechanical construct that's possessed by a chaos demon. I would think this is probably something. I mean, it could be several different type of chaos demons here. It could be, you know, Tzeentch. It could be Khorne with the red armor. It could be, you know, like even Slaanesh, weird tentacle things here. But this is just parts from different things that I've kind of put together and then painted, and the bases are custom. So just kind of a fun guy. And he has a rather nice scully face there that I took from one of the box of skulls. I think it was a bloodthirster, or no. I'm trying to remember what you call it. bloodthirsters, I think, or one of the blood guys. It kind of slips out of my brain right now. They're kind of like the foot soldiers of the Legions of Corn. But there's that guy. And then this is just some, and these don't have to be 40K. They could work with any type of tabletop miniature game. But you can see this is a big mech, and so this is the size he would be to a standard Space Marine. A human would come about to the chest of a Space Marine in that scale, so it's a big chunking mech there. And he's made from different things, different action figure parts and some miniature parts and things like that. And this guy is a little bit bigger mech. You see here, it's kind of, you can see the advance of the size of the mechs as we go through this. So they kind of go through a progression of size there. But this guy, like I said, he doesn't have to be Warhammer. It doesn't have to be anything like that. You can use it with, you know, some of the games that are like the, what do you call it? Is it System? Or anyways, it's like system agnostic games where it doesn't use any particular thing like Warhammer or Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of its own thing. I think one-page rules is one that you can do. But yeah, he's kind of a gnarly looking mech, and he has some nice base stuff on him there. Just kind of give him that nice rugged look. I don't like clean anything when you're talking about war. Let's see, moving up a little bit, I wanted to start messing around with some of the Daemon Princes, which are, they were once regular Marines that have been possessed, and then they just keep getting worse and worse until they're just gigantic demonic creatures. And this would definitely be a creature of Tzeentch. He's got the magical flair about him, and he's sort of alien, you know, demonic alien type thing, and he has the ram skull and everything, and he has, like, one of the things I was concentrating here with the magical look about him is he has sort of a powerful lightning type of thing going throughout his whole body, sort of a crackle. But he was a lot of fun to put together. Like I said, it's a bunch of different things. There's like an alien action figure in there, like from, you know, the Alien movies. There's pieces from some of the Final Faction figures. There's just all kind of stuff in there. I don't know if any of him is actually Warhammer parts, but he was a lot of fun to cobble together. And it really is. If you ever want to have a blast, just get a bunch of, like, you can find cheapo action figures at thrift stores and stuff like that. Just tear them up and put them back together in different ways and have fun painting them. And then this is kind of my take on like a Tau mech. It's not really, you know, supposed to be Tau. It's just kind of, I was inspired by the colors and some of the design elements. And this is just, once again, it's just pieces and parts from different action figures and such. But I wanted him to look nice and grody, like he's been at it for a while. So he's got some good battle damage on him and some rusty bits and some oil streaks here and there, but he's got his crazy metallic eye looking at you. Yeah, so he was a lot of fun. I think there's some, I think it's like pieces and parts from, what is that thing? Amiibo, yeah, definitely from the Amiibo Metroid stuff. One of the robots or whatever from that. But just a lot of stuff going in there to make him up. Now this is another. It's not a particular type of thing. It's just a mech, you know, like a big giant mech. And you can see this is his, you know, we're getting bigger now. So this is him scaled to a, like a Space Marine. So he'd be really big guy. Yep. So I wanted him to look nice and grungy. And you know, even if you don't use them for like tabletop games and stuff, they're you know, I would think they'd look pretty nice sitting on a shelf or, you know, somewhere in your collection if you're interested in stuff like that. I will be putting these guys on sale at some point. I just have to kind of, like I said, get into it. Now, this is kind of loosely based on an one of the factions in 40K is the Eldar. They're kind of like space elves. And this is based on the, let's see, kind of bring this up a little bit. This is kind of based on the Wraith, is it Wraith Lord? I think it's a Wraith Lord. It's one of their big sort of spirit stone empowered mechs that they have. They're built out of wraith bone, which is a thing that the Eldar can summon and shape with their abilities. But he's a big boy. I really like the look of those guys, and I found some different like action figures and like little mini statues and stuff like that, and kind of cobbled him together from that. But he stands, he's probably about, I guess about 6 or 6.5 inches tall, maybe something like that. That's what I'm thinking from his little tippity-toppity thing. But he's kind of a beefy boy, and you can see if you look at him compared to the Stormtrooper. And really, you know, with the figure, when you start to get to this size, they don't have to be like tabletop miniatures. This can be, you know, if you just want to have like a cool looking alien knight guy, you know, on your shelf, he'd kind of tower over a Star Wars figure. But, you know, such is life when you're a giant spindly alien mech thing made out of magic bones. This is another just kind of a mech guy, not based on any particular faction in 40K or anything like that. He's just kind of a big, beefy, robotic construct. Anytime you see any of the bright colored stuff on any of mine, there's usually UV light reactive, so those eyes would light up. I don't think there's anything else on him that's made with that, but I do like every once in a while having that. Because for one thing, just when you're just painting it regular, the neon stuff just really looks nice. It kind of pops out, gives a little bit of contrast with the drab stuff. But, yep, that's this guy. Painted red for war. Oh yeah, and this was, this is kind of my take on a big Tyrannid creature. Tyrannids, once again, are those kind of xenomorph-like insect aliens in Warhammer 40K, and this guy is just massive. And so, you know, if you wanted to use it on a tabletop, you'd probably have to use some other type of rules for another creature that could fit in there. There's things you can do if you did want to play him in a game, or just any kind of game. He would really fit in. He's a nice, creepy looking bug critter, and they're very sturdy and steady. Like, I made sure that when I make them, they have like the legs and all are pinned in place. They're connected to the base by 3 points or more, so they stand really well. They're not springy or anything like that. So I don't want anything like that, any kind of wobbliness. Now we're getting to the last two, and we're getting to the big guys. So this is a gigantic. This is a demon prince, and he's a big boy. And you can see compared to the come here, boy. Compared to the Space Marine, he's quite big. So this would be a Daemon Prince, or I don't know, like Big Daddy Demon or something. But I definitely based this guy on something specifically because he does have the Khornate symbol. He's one of the followers of Khorne, the Chaos God Khorne, and I wanted to give him some, like a flaming sword, and I wanted to do some object source lighting where, you know, the light is reflected off of his armor and everything. But you see, if you turn him around the other way, you can see this would be, the red would be the color of his armor in regular light. But let's give you a little look at him and what's going on here. Yeah, he's not a pretty guy. And there's his Khorne symbol festooned with skulls, and he's got a nice little like cross belt of skulls here. He has some type of demonic whip thing coming out of his arm. His tail is nice and spiky. You got to have your spikes when you're dealing with chaos. That's what it's all about. But yeah, he was a lot of fun to work on. I really do like how he turned out. Hey, look. There's awful faces in there. But it's a lot of little details I crammed in there on this guy. So he's next to the biggest boy. Now the biggest boy, I'm gonna have to kind of zoom out here. He is quite large, and he is quite in charge, and he is, of course, the one and only Cthulhu. And he's a very big boy, and his wings are very big. So he's quite a piece. He's roughly, like, from the bottom of his feet to the top of the highest reaching wing, he's probably 11 and a half, 12 maybe. And he's really, like, the wings are really long. So he's a very big boy. And I wanted to make him nice and slimy. So I gave him a nice coat. And he has like his stand, his base is, now he's one that, you know, is more like a display piece, but I'm sure with some rules finagling, you could work him into a game, because he has a big base, but, you know, I don't know that it actually fits any of the parameters that are specific for Warhammer. But, you know, I think he'd be a fun display piece even without the mini gaming aspect to it. And he has a face that only a demented mother could love. But yeah, he's a big old boy. So he's the biggest of all of them. So you go from the biggest there to, say, the smallest, and you have quite a range there of different sizes on these guys. But that's what I've been working on lately. And you know, you can see there's all these guys here and these guys right here. So it's been a busy time. It's nice to have something I can work on. And it's nice to share it with people. So thanks for asking about the custom work, and I have not stopped working at any point during this whole time that I haven't been posting anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Monsterforge out. And on another note, this guy, it's not really one of the miniatures that I was showing before. You know, this guy's big. This is based on McFarlane Toys Chaos Marine, but you know, I'm a Masters of the Universe nut, so I couldn't resist bringing Skeletor into the the realm of the Chaos Gods and Chaos Marines. So this is just a nice little nod to Skeletor, and this guy will also be available. As far as like what faction he would be, I don't know. Maybe Zinch. He seems to have a little bit of the magic flair to him, and enough chaosy, transformational magic stuff. I don't know. Maybe he's chaos undivided. Who knows? But anyway, just wanted to kind of show this guy too. But anyway, thanks for looking again. Later.